What's going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Tuffy Talk. And like we've been promising you all the month of August, we have more and more and more football content. So, and guess what? After this episode, we're going to have even more football content. So, but we wanted to do something a little fun. You know, you have those preseason writers, you know, do their AP and ACC preseason awards and, you know, they, like, for instance, like player of the year or like, you know, deep coach of the year or whatever. So we thought we might do something a little bit fun like that as well, but just on an NC State level. So we're going to go through. I think we had we put out a poll out on X, and we got some good feedback. And then, of course, you're always going to get our 2 cents whether you want it or not. But all right, Michael, I'm going to turn this over to you. I'm going to let you run through the categories. I have not seen these, so this is all new to me. And take it away, sir. What's the first category we're doing?
So we've got 9 questions.
9 questions,
got a
okay.
bunch of responses. A couple of them were multiple choice, and some were fill in the blank with a player or so. So first one on the board was Game of the Year. So this one was a multiple choice. We have Clemson, Tennessee, UNC, Cal, Georgia Tech. So I was thinking of this one as, when you say Game of the Year, what's our most important game of the year?
Sure.
I wonder if it probably could have been interpreted different ways. Like if you think what's going to be the best game, or
the most fun to go to, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking most important.
I would agree.
So, you go ahead. What's your?
So do I take a guess, or do you want me to give you mine, or what do we want?
You give me yours.
Okay.
You give me yours. I'll say mine, and then we'll read out the consensus answers from the listeners.
And we've talked about this one a couple of times on the pod, and I still, from a selfish NC State perspective, I think you have to go with Clemson just because it means more in the grand scheme of things for the season. Though, you know, I'm sure Tennessee's going to get some votes in this, but for me, you win the ACC, you're in the college football playoff, and obviously that's the goal, right? So you want to win the ACC and then, you know, advance to the college football player. So I'm going to go personally Clemson, but if you probably wanted to say for the conference's sake, it would definitely be Tennessee. But yeah, I was listening to Ovius and Giglio, and they were kind of discussing the same thing too, and they were saying, for NC State, it's the Clemson game is most important, and that's what I would choose as well. And he was like, but if you're Jim Phillips, you really want that Tennessee game just for the perception of the league. But, well, right, because I mean, if you think about it, what do they put like the banner at the ACC media days? You know, ACC the nation's toughest conference or schedule or something like that.
Non-conference schedule,
non-conference schedule. That's what it was. Yeah. So what's yours? Like, what are you going with?
Yeah, I'm going Clemson as well, because we can lose the Tennessee game and still accomplish all of our goals for the season. Yeah, you can still do that if you lose the Clemson game, but it's probably a little bit tougher, a little less
the road
likely.
Gets a little tighter. Yeah. Agreed.
So
if I had to guess, the fans, I feel like fans probably went Tennessee. But if you're
a close one.
It is close, but am I right? Did they go with Tennessee?
No. So 53% said Clemson, 41% Tennessee. We had 6% say UNC.
Yeah, so you have the rivalry aspect there. You know, no one picked Cal or Georgia Tech.
No.
I guess, you know, you have to have enough on the ballot to make it worth your while. But, you know, the Georgia Tech game is interesting. You know, that's towards the end of the season. I think it's the second to the last game of the season. Yeah. So there definitely could be some implications there. Yeah. You know, Cal, I think Cal's probably on there just because it's the uniqueness of we've never played Cal. We're going out to California since 2021, the Holiday Bowl. So, you know, there's guys on the squad still that have some memories of going out there and not finishing business.
Yeah. Yeah. And that one's, I think that's a big one that a lot of people are looking at because it's at the end of that first stretch of the season, 8 weeks, no bye. Right. You got to go to California. So that's definitely that'll be a tough one.
Yep, for sure. All right, so so pretty much the consensus is Clemson as the game of the year. I don't think you're going to get a lot of arguments there, but you know, like we just went through, there's some cases to be made.
Yeah.
All right, so category 2, where are we going with this?
Number 2 was most improved player of the year, and this one was just a fill in the blank. So we got a lot of names in here.
Yeah. I would. Do we have any that's like a clear cut winner in this one, or was like just like was there a tie? I'm sure there's like some ties in here.
I think the most common answer I'm seeing. You want me to tell you, or
no?
Okay.
No.
Yeah, there is one name, two names that stick out.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm curious. Give me which side of the ball it's on. Let's see if I can guess it.
One on offense, one on defense.
Of course. All right. Of course. Do they wear a red uniform?
Yes. Good guess.
All right. So most improved player.
Unless we're on the road,
the
then we're probably wearing
offense. I feel like it would have to be on the offense. Are we going an offensive lineman on the offensive side of the ball?
No.
I feel like no, because people don't really pay attention to offensive linemen.
There is
should.
One offensive lineman on here, and it's really not who I would guess, but out of all the answers, we got one offensive lineman.
Okay. Yeah. It's probably going to be a skill player on both sides. Offense. If people said KC, I would be like, what?
No, but no KC.
Most improved. I mean, all right. So I have two names. Okay. I'm going either with Kendrick Raphael or Dakari Collins.
Ooh, 0 for 2.
Jeez, like who are we talking about then?
Noah Rogers was the most common answer.
Nah.
and one offensive lineman we got was Ryland Van.
Interesting. What did he vote?
Maybe.
So that's kind of an obscure one. I would have gone maybe Peak. And
that's it. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
I mean, and not that he was bad last year. I think he's just going to take another step, right?
Yeah, like by the end of the year, we could be talking about NFL draft for him.
Yeah. All right. So then on the defensive side of the ball,
yeah, this is the
Sean
second
Brown?
most common answer. Yep.
Yeah.
Sean Brown.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
So I disagree on all of this.
Yeah, that's why we do it.
Yeah, that's why we do it. If I had to go like a skill position, right? Yeah. I would say Dakari Collins. Mm-hmm. I think he's a guy that showed a lot of upside towards the end of the season, especially with that weight game on. I think he really came out, and I think he had like 4 or 5 catches in the weight game and 60 or 70 yards, if memory serves me correctly. I would go them. And again, like I said Kendrick Raphael. I think he's another one that by all accounts, he's put on some weight and gotten in even better shape. And so again, for me, I'm thinking guys that are second year guys.
Yeah, that's kind of where I went
just kind of just taking that next step, right? Mm-hmm. So that's where I would go on the offensive side of the ball. I can see, for me, Sean Brown. It's hard for me to say Sean Brown just because he's playing a new position, and I mean, he did get a little bit of reps last year, especially in that Clemson game where he made like 5 straight tackles. Which, I mean, I don't know how you get more improved than that. You're in 5 straight tackles, but if I went defensive side of the ball, I think like Brandon Cison, or I'm saying his name.
Cisse.
Cisse, thank you.
My answer too. That was my answer.
Yeah, I just think someone that's going to take that next step. You can even maybe throw in especially Bishop Fitzgerald. I thought Bishop was really good in his first year, but he could take a step. So, but yeah, all right. So, what is your one on the offensive side of the ball?
Offensively, I kind of agree with the Noah Rogers. I mean, but it's hard because it's like he didn't play, so it's like any production is technically improved.
Correct. Yeah.
I like a Jacarius Peak answer. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Some other names we got on here.
Yeah, give me the other names.
Caden Fordham.
That's a good one.
If he improves, woo.
Yeah, I mean he's already solid, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got one Joe Lee. 2 answers for Hollywood Smothers. Noah Rogers, Caden Fordham, Ryland Van. And Duke Scott got 1 answer, which that's
interesting.
Yeah, Again, it's hard to say most improved because he's a freshman, but it's like
I just don't have a lot of tape.
Yeah,
I do like the Caden Fordham one. I think that's a really good. That's a really smart answer. Especially if he's going to be the one with the green dot in his helmet, which it sounds like he's going to be the guy.
Yeah.
Or maybe I think it's Sean Brown. I think it is Sean Brown that's going to have that.
I don't know because Caden's going to play middle, so I would
you would think it would be middle, but
maybe not.
Who was there was a name on there that kind of did get my interest.
Duke Scott?
No.
Hollywood?
No.
Devin Van, Justin Dooley, Caden Fordham.
Jolie. That was the one that kind of got my interest. Yeah. So for me, we already know he's got the upside at receiving. Can he block? If he gets that blocking down, I think he's going to be a real dangerous weapon. Because then you can leave him in all the time, and you don't know if he's going to run a route or block.
Right.
When you're kind of one dimensional, guys can key in on that, or coaching staffs can key on that. So, but all right, that's an interesting. Not exactly the names that I would have expected on that list, but there was definitely a few on there that made sense.
Yep.
All right. Category number 3. What do we got?
We got Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay. Defensive Player of the Year. And I'm assuming this was a fill in the blank as well?
Yep. Let me count them up while you give yours.
Yep. Let me see who I want to go with here. I think I think I got to go someone on the defensive line. But it's not really that's not really the focal point of our defense, right? The linebackers and the secondary is really the focal point of our defense with the 3-3-5. But you know what? No, I'm going to change my mind. Well, okay, no, MVP, not who's most important. So I will go. Yeah. I'm going to go Red Hibbler. I think Red Hibbler is going to be. He led the team last year in sacks, and I think this defensive line is going to step up in big ways this year. I think they're due for breakouts with Hibbler and Brandon Cleveland and Davin Van. I think this defensive front is going to surprise some people. It's not a front that typically eats up a lot of sacks, but I just think these guys are gonna break out and kill it. So I'm gonna go with a little bit of a dark horse, I guess, but Red Hibbler is my guy.
Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flightlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout Eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need. Offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flightlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flightlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flightlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out.
Yeah. So Hibbler did get one vote.
Okay.
So somebody else was thinking along the same lines. So this one pretty split. Outside of Hibbler, though, it was only three other guys. So
yeah, so I'm going to go Sean Brown.
Aiden White was first.
Yeah.
Davin Van second. Sean Brown third. So
yeah. I think here's my problem with Aiden White. How much action is he going to get over there, right? And I think he kind of got snubbed because he is so good. Like that's why he didn't get all the votes that he should have gotten last year for ACC, first team, second team, so on and so forth. So like that's actually a negative, which is wild to even think, right? The guy hasn't given up a touchdown in 2 seasons. Like how is that not a good thing, right?
Yeah. But it's like if people don't throw at you, you can't get tackles, you can't get interceptions. It's like, and those are the things that people vote based on. But,
right, because they're stat eaters, right? They want to look at tangible numbers. When you don't have those numbers, it's like, well, was he even in the game? The casual fan will definitely. Voters are the same way. I mean, just be real. A lot of the voters are, just they're a little bit more than a casual fan. They're an observer, but a lot of those guys don't really know ball.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Not that I'm saying that I know ball. But.
They'll know the teams that they cover, the team or teams, but it's like, yeah, it's just kind of impossible to know everything about every single player on everything.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of how it goes.
And I think Sean Brown is a really, just because he's kind of quote unquote taking over for Peyton at that position, and everyone knows how productive Peyton was. And so there's going to be a lot of expectations there from that position, whoever plays it, right? If it's Sean Brown, if it wasn't him, then that person would have a lot of expectations. And then Davin Van, yeah, I think he's just one of those. He's one of your captains. You expect a lot from him. Yeah. He's a guy that's kind of gotten better every year. And, does he take that next step?
Yeah. Yeah. Which, you're talking about with Red Hibbler, it's like the defensive line is a little bit overlooked just because they have a different role than most defensive linemen. But yeah, I mean, Van could be really good this year.
Yeah. Very good. I think this defensive line is not getting talked enough about. I think the defense as a whole is not getting talked enough about because of all the splash moves were on the offense with the majority of the big name profile transfer portal guys coming in on the offensive side. So I think, when you bring in the likes of Noah Rogers and Grayson McCall and Jordan Waters and Zeke Correll and Justin Jolie, like those are the headline names of the class, the Coleys, the the Coleys and the Coolies, Martin, and DK. There's a couple of them. They're just gonna come in and get the job done. They're not sexy names, if you will.
Yeah, a lot of
so
older
I just don't
guys.
think the defense. Yeah, a lot of the older guys. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So, did you gave your defensive guy?
I'd probably say Sean Brown.
Yeah.
Just because Tony Gibson's defense is built to funnel the action towards the linebackers, and I think the last 3 years he's had an all ACC linebacker, and obviously Peyton Wilson was National Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and like you said with Aiden White, he's just not going to get enough action over there. I think because teams will throw at him, which really should be the indication he's a better player, but it's just how it works.
Yep. Agreed. It's an unfortunate byproduct of being that good.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I think we're on to question number 4. What is this superlative?
Other side of the ball, offensive player of the year.
So I have my name right away.
Okay. We got
if you're ready, I'm going to give it to you.
One. Yep.
All right. So while you're going through that, I'm going to go Justin Jolie. The main reason I want to go Justin Jolie is just Grayson McCall's relationship with the tight end. He had Isaiah Lively when he was at Coastal Carolina, and by far that was like his best year. I think Grayson McCall is a really solid quarterback. He's got to go through all of his progressions, and I just think Justin Jolie is going to be a matchup nightmare for folks. He didn't have a great game against us defensively, but the likes of Tennessee, he torched them, and he torched a lot of defenses last year when he was with UConn. So I think that's going to be the guy. Here's the craziness. You can name a half dozen people on the offensive side, and it would not be like, I don't think that guy's going to be, unless you're naming Zeke Correll as your offensive MVP. Though it's very, like, again, offensive line is very, very important, but the skill guys are going to get all the love, unfortunately. You could go easily. I could name 6 players and you wouldn't even bat an eyelash. So give me your thoughts, and then let's get the what the crowd went with.
Yeah. So this one's, like you said, it's tough to just pick
there's so many of them.
One offensive MVP, and it's. I think I'm gonna go. I think I gotta go McCall just because of all the weapons. He's gonna be the one getting them.
Someone's got to deliver it, right?
The catches and the yards are gonna be split up between all the receivers and Jolie, but all that's coming from one QB. So I think he has the potential to put up big numbers, even if he's not Patrick Mahomes out there making crazy plays. I think it's just hopefully the offense is just running so well, and there's so many weapons that he's putting up numbers, but he's not doing it all by himself.
Yeah. I think you definitely can make a case for, like I said, any number of folks. I would have probably gone either McCall or Waters with my second choice. I just think that Jolie is going to get a lot of red zone touchdowns. I don't know why. I just feel that way. I see it. But to your point, someone's got to deliver him the ball, right? And that's always going to come from the quarterback. And that person is, knock on wood, Grayson McCall.
Yeah.
What did the fans go with here? Was it pretty split here, I'd imagine?
No, majority was actually McCall as well.
Okay. Yeah, again, the quarterbacks that get all the love. I mean, he whether right, wrong, or indifferent, he's the face of your franchise or your face of your program. He's going to get all the praise when things go well, and he's going to get all the blame when it doesn't. Whether or not it's his fault or not, it comes with the territory. Yep.
We got a couple after McCall. Most common answers. We got a couple of Noah Rogers, a couple KC, a couple Jolie, and one for Jordan Waters as well.
Yeah, I can see Jordan Waters. I mean, Jordan Waters was what, second team all ACC last year?
Yeah, he was second or third.
Yeah. I don't remember which one he was, but so I mean, he could easily replicate that, if not even more, with this. If you were to tell me based off of last year's Duke offense or this year's NC State offense, which one would you think Jordan Waters is going to be? Obviously, he had a first round draft pick in front of him blocking for him and Barton at Duke. But I mean, the quarterback play, especially with Riley Leonard being out half the year,
they lean on him a lot.
I think I would still, I think I would take Jordan Waters with NC State's potential more than Duke's statistics. So all right, well,
we can go one more, and before
I think we can get one more in, and then we'll break.
Yeah, this one kind of fits with the previous ones, and this is just most valuable player overall.
Yeah. So is it one of those things where you see a guy get player of the year, but what I'm trying to think. There was an instance where someone didn't make like an all team, but then they were like player of the year or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like one of those situations where, like a pitcher winning most valuable player in the major leagues, but not becoming Cy Young. Right. Something crazy like that. So the reason I'm going with that is I think I have to go Grayson McCall in that matter. I'm trying to justify my answer here.
Yeah.
But you kind of were swaying me. I still think Justin Jolie is going to be important, but you're right. I think the season, there's three sides of the ball when you count special teams. I think Grayson McCall there's a reason why you brought a guy in as established as he is, winning conference player of the year 3 times. You want that stability, and I think he's just going to get it done for NC State, and the season rides on his shoulders. Yeah. So I think I'll go Grayson McCall, even though I don't know if necessarily he'll be the offensive player of the year.
No,
and
but
y'all
it is
y'all
a different
can call
question.
me out in the comments. I don't even care.
It is a different question. Most valuable versus just straight offensive.
Yeah. Thank you for justifying my answer. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
What who you going with? Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Jordan Waters, I think. Because
so you did the opposite of kind of what I did.
Yeah. I think because if he can be a stud back, Dorn likes to run the ball, and they're just gonna feed him, and
especially if they get out to a lead, right?
Yeah. Without argument, you could almost make the argument for offensive player of the year, but I just think if we have a real running game, that's going to open up the passing game even more with the weapons. So I'm going to go Jordan Waters if he can be as effective as we've seen.
Yeah, and we really haven't had that offensive threat since Ricky Pearson and Bam Knight. Not to take anything away from folks that have followed them, it's just we haven't been able to lean on that running game the way we would like, and I think just in to that point, I think the offensive line is going to be a lot better. I really do. It's a unit that you saw get better throughout the season, but I think they're going to, this is Coach 2J's second year. He's getting the dudes in there that he wants. The schemes, they want to run. They've got the horses to do it. You can say that on a lot of the position groups, that there's with the Nye's second year and Coach 2J's, like they're getting the guys that they want to run their system. So I feel a lot better with your answer with Waters just being able to just eat yards up. I mean, he had like 1,300 total yards last year, something ridiculous.
Yeah,
like
crazy.
Like if he replicates that, I mean, we're going to be in so much business.
Yeah. You got, now that you're saying that, you could make an argument that offensive line might be the MVP of the season.
Yeah.
I mean,
someone's got to protect McCall, and someone's got to open up holes for the running game. I mean, the offensive line does not get enough love. It just doesn't.
Yep.
But what did the fans go with?
Overwhelming majority again was Grayson McCall.
Any defensive players on that list?
No, they were all offensive. So
if you had a Peyton Wilson
Grayson
this
McCall,
year, yeah, right. Then defense would probably get a couple votes.
But majority McCall. We got next most popular
KC,
was KC.
Yeah,
and then we got one other vote for Jordan Waters.
Okay. Okay.
All offensive players.
All right. Well, there is half of our preseason awards. Please come back to check out episode 2. But just as a reminder, if I say the word subscribe and it's not, if you got something popping up on your screen, say subscribe, that means you haven't subscribed to our channel. We would really love and appreciate that you did that for us. And then while you're there, just, hit that little bell for notifications. So when you get cool episodes like this coming out, you can give us a watch, and then make sure you're going out. And if you are currently listening to us on any of the platforms for podcasts, whether it be Apple, Spotify, Podbean, I think there's a bunch of them out there. Just go out there and just give us a 5-star review. We would greatly appreciate it. And then the last thing we would just ask, just share this out. If you're enjoying the content, hit that share button. Send it to friends and family that love the pack just as much as we do, and we would greatly appreciate it. So make sure you come on back for part 2. We'll have some more preseason awards to give away. All right, and as always, go Pack.